And then we go into these the idea of poetry, ideals of love. It's a very ancient festival, St. Valentine's Day. Always takes place in Aquarius. It goes right back to Chaucer and beyond. So there's this idea of poems, usually dreadful poems, written to your beloved. And the tradition has absolutely exploded, apparently, in the last few years. It's the amount of e-cards and things which are sent absolutely enormous. And then, after this fixed sign, towards the end of it, we have everything beginning to break down, because we're going into Pisces. And Pisces has two themes. And first of all, is the carnival, which is the preparation for the breakdown again of order. So to actually get involved in that is an important part of the seasonal year. So this goes right back, the idea of carnival. It actually, the word means carnival, flesh farewell, because it's time, going to be time to put away meat for Lent, for this long period during Pisces, when everything is to do with relinquishing. So it's important to have this wild time of drunkenness and excess, and finalised by Mardi Gras, which is in fact Tuesday, Pancake Day, eating all the remains of the food, because it's just about to go into Lent. Then with Pisces, really the whole of Pisces really is covered, as Lent takes place. So collectively, this has been a time for renunciation, withdrawal from the world, isolation, abstinence, fasting, purging, purification. A time of prayer and penance, a time of collective sacrifice, and that's reflected in the Christ 40 days in the wilderness, and all of the crosses are covered up. So there's nothing really it's very important that is embraced, because of course after that comes the spring equinox and we're off again. So to let that die, to let the old year die, is important. And here now suddenly we have the spring equinox, and this is a period obviously of the renewed and increased vigour in nature. And Easter is very much a celebration of the death, if we think in terms of the agricultural year, the death of the old year king, who has to die so that the new king, the new season, the new year can be born. And so it's a ritual reenacting, and there were rituals going right back even to Babylonian times, where a king would be appointed as to rule for a year, and then would be killed just before the spring equinox again. So as a symbol of the fertility of the country and of life, there has to be the killing of the old year, and we have that in the Christian celebration of Easter. It helped me to, looking at all of these rituals and festivals, it helped me to understand, the importance of the sheer brute strength, the power of Aries, because this was Lady Day, which is traditionally 25th of March. Used to be, now it's the 4th of April because of the change in the calendar. Start of the legal and official year, tax year. Was actually the traditional day for the hiring of your farmers, your hired labourers, for the hard labour which is needed for ploughing, sowing, planting of seeds, pruning, planting of crops. So enormous hard work needed, not a lot of muscle and courage and this was the time when farm instruments would be sharpened, they'll be cutting back the edges of the fields, the wild growth from the edges of the fields, which we need for the crops, and the sheep, and the cattle, all the penned creatures will be released out into the fields, and warfare, the season of warfare. So a real shift would actually begin. So that's when they will be having jousting and fencing, preparing for war skills for the year, equestrian games, races, chariot driving, spear throwing, and generally getting ready for war and getting ready for pilgrimage, going off on pilgrimage. And this is this piece from Chaucer, which is when April, with its sweet smelling showers, has pierced the drought of March to the root, and so on. The west wind has breathed life into the new leaves of the tender new leaves, and the young sun has run half his course in Aries. Then we seek to go on pilgrimages. So there's that sense of having to go out on a quest, on an adventure, get ready for war, and get the fields ready. So look, that whole thing is very strong. And here we have in the Book of Hours, and we can see that Pisces is going into Aries above, a farmer ploughing the field, winemakers prune the vine, and the man sows seeds, and the shepherd guards the flock. So you can see all of that relevance to Aries. Here's Richard I leaving for the Crusades. Again, that's some time ago from Crusades. So we have April Fool's Day, which is a sense of the renewal of the year. And 25th of March, Lady Day, is also associated with the birth of the Holy Grail in myth. And of course, it was Parsifal who was the new life, who took over from the old king, the Fisher King. So it was again the miraculous vessel whose symbolism is rebirth and renewal. So you find it everywhere. Ideas of Aries. I've actually snuck in St. George, who doesn't really belong. He's right at the beginning of Taurus, but I think he's all round the room. So I'm just looking at him, and this all feels very Aries, this room somehow, lots of heroes and things. But so I think the idea of the symbolism of George and the Dragon is the defeat of chaos, the monster, establishing the power of the masculine. Then we get, then of course the season becomes established and fixed. We go into the fixed sign of Taurus until, and that stays everything's growing, the sun's power is gaining strength, things are becoming very green and sprouting forth, and until then you have the celebration right at the middle of Taurus, which is Beltane, the fertility festival. So the earth is fertile now. The days are growing longer. The season becomes stable. And of course, the bull is the traditional symbol of wealth and fertility. So wealth is counted in heads of cattle. We have stock markets, we have bull markets, and so on. And so the fertility festival of Beltane is May Day, the day for dance, a day for celebration, and the raising of the sacred tree. So here's the maypole dancing, which is such a feature of May Day, and the crowning of the young May Queen. So that's a sort of ritual of a celebration of nature. And couples will go off into the fields, a maying it was called, and stay out all night and find partners and so on. So very much a fertility festival. I like this idea of maypole dancing not just being a random dance, but a ritual dance to link the reviving energy of the sun with the growing vegetation in the earth beneath.